stream it tonight. I usually stream it to YouTube at the same time, and I'm not doing that tonight. I'll just upload the video later.
Sounds good to me. I'm sorry?
All of our friends, now that the session is over and the nonpartisan local elections are over, but let's go ahead and come to order. Just as a reminder, if you're a precinct chair, a current precinct chair that has been sworn in and is a voting member of the body, please sit on this side of the room. If you are a visitor or a precinct chair that is waiting to be sworn in, or elected official or whatnot, please sit on to my left-hand side, on the left side of the room. Thank you. I'd like to call on former Collin County GOP chair and former Collin County GOP chair and former Collin County District Judge George Flint to lead us in our invocation.
Thank you. Why don't we all rise? And I have Byron to thank for giving me all 5 seconds to prepare for this. So if you'll just give me a little grace here. And in fact, Lord, that's really what we ask for today, is grace and mercy. Lord, look upon this gathering of your people. Help us, Lord, as we work through all the issues that we have. For those who are candidates, strengthen them. For those who are officers and already office holders, give them wisdom, give them strength to do their job well with integrity. And Lord, help us to speak well, to speak strongly, and to speak truly. We ask this, I will ask this in the name of my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and I ask you to join me. Thank you. Amen.
Now I'd like to call on another former Collin County GOP chairperson and the current chair of the Republican Party of Texas, Abraham George, to lead us in the pledge to the American flag.
Let's pledge allegiance to the greatest nation on the face of the earth. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now I'd like to call on our newest Collin County District Judge, appointed by Governor Abbott last fall, the 471st District Court in Collin County, Brian Gant, to lead us in a pledge to the Texas flag.
Thank you. Please join me in a pledge of allegiance to the greatest state in the Union. Honor the Texas flag.
I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Judge Gant. now time to determine from our secretary whether or not we have a quorum. Madam Secretary, do we have a quorum? We do have a quorum.
Yes, sir.
So now if you are an elected official or a candidate, this is your time to line up and say hello and meet and greet the public. That is a first. So either microphone is fine, but Cody's over there, so probably over there is fine.
Howdy everybody, my name is Cody Weaver. I am the precinct chair for Precinct 31, but more importantly, I'm running for Collin County Commissioner, Precinct 4. So hope to have your help, your vote. I've talked with a lot of you, and we just need some consistent Republican leadership in there. I promise to be just that. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Brooke Welch, judge of the 470th District Court.
Happy Monday night, everybody. I'm Greg Willis. I'm your Collin County District Attorney. And every day I get up to work every day to fight to keep the criminals off our streets, because safe streets and strong communities is my priority for you. And looking out for you is the honor of a lifetime. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brian Gant. I'm duly appointed judge of the 471st District Court. The 471st District Court handles all civil cases, no family cases, so we're talking business disputes, and other large matters. Thank you for your support. And if it's okay, I'd like to pass this off to my representative, Teresa Richardson. She's my representative.
It is great up here. 254 counties, and Collin County is the best in the state of Texas. I'm so proud to represent you.
Let's step back to call. My name is Ken Cook. I am on LC Council Place 3, and good to see you all tonight. Good evening. Randy Johnson, judge of Collin County Court at Law Number 5. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve you so far, and I look forward to being on the ballot in March, and hope that I've earned your vote for re-election. Thank you for all you do.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Michael Hewitt, and I will be running for the Republican nomination for State Representative in House District 70. In all of Collin County, currently represented by a Democrat, and a very liberal Democrat at that. I am an attorney, I am a litigator, and in this coming election, I will be looking to litigate the case against the Democrat Party. So in the next few weeks, I will be getting my campaign up and running, and when I do, I would love all of your support. I'll be in the back after the meeting if anybody would like to talk. But again, my name is Michael Hewitt, looking to flip House District 70 and make all of Collin County red again.
How do you follow that? Kelly Herndon, I am a city council for Anna, Place 4. I just got reelected, and I hope to serve everybody very well. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Woody Huffines. I'm running for Collin County Commissioners Court in Precinct 4. The reason that I'm running is that my concept of the way we ought to be as Republicans is that you have 3 stages in your life. You learn, you earn, and then you return. I spent 25 years financially managing projects from $4 billion to $8 billion in litigations for $1 billion. This is the kind of work that I've done before, but I really enjoy doing, and I'd like to do it for you. If we have a chance, I'd love to have coffee with you and explain all of it. Thank you for your time.
Well, folks, some of you know me, some of you don't. My name is George Flint. I am prior judge of the 401st District Court, and I am tonight announcing that I intend to defeat Mahela Plessa
in HB 70 come election day in November. And I would appreciate your support, George Flint, candidate for representative of HB 70. Thank you.
Hello friends, I'm Chris Hill. I know somebody over there some money, I'm not sure who. Listen, I've got some great news for you today. First, so many of you in here have been working with us on election integrity for many, many months. Many of you were in the room in August when I made a motion to move us to hand-marked paper ballots. That motion failed. Many of you were in the room in November when I made the same motion. It failed again. But then a friend of ours named Donald J. Trump stepped in, offered up an executive order, and basically made it clear from the EAC all the way down, we were going to get rid of barcodes on ballots and go back to election security. We were going to tighten election security and election integrity. I made that motion again today, and it passed unanimously. So you and me and Donald J. Trump got it done. Thank you for being involved in this issue for so many months, always being interested in protecting our election integrity. We already have. I'm confident of this. I say this out loud. I say it all the time. We already have fantastic elections here in Collin County. They are run with integrity and with excellence, but we never stop making them even better. And we're going to keep doing that. So thank you, everyone. Second, I want to tell you, I'm about to announce this publicly, but I want to tell you privately here first, I am going to run again for re-election as your Collin County judge in March, and I would be honored to have your support as your Collin County judge again on the ballot. So thank you so much for your
support. Wendy Mattingly, Precinct 37 Chair, and I won. Look at the people up here, Lee, Paula, the Scotts, Irvine, Terry, everybody. It was, I mean, without y'all, I don't think I could have done it. Thank you, and we're going to take care of things up in Blue Ridge. Thanks.
Good evening, all. I'm Abraham George. Any of you don't know me, the new precinct chairs. I used to be the county chair here, and congratulations to Byron. I'm hearing great things about it, and thank you for stepping up. And this is one of the jobs that everybody's upset with you. So, but I'm going to be sending out emails and text messages in the next few weeks. This is about closing our primaries, and did not take care of the problem, even though we had pretty good set of legislators on our side. Unfortunately, one of our legislators from Collin County was the main roadblock. I'm just going to put his name out there. Same as Matt Shaheen. So, Carissa and everyone else was on board with that. Not everyone else, but most of them were on board with that. But it just did not happen. It didn't have enough support in the House and didn't move. But so we're going to go file a lawsuit in the next few weeks, and we're just going to take it to the court and see how that's going to work out. So it's going to cost us a lot of money. So that's where I'm going to text you, call you, email you. Please spend a few bucks, $100, $500, whatever you can spare. It will take a lot of money to get that done. The other thing, the legislative session, I'm going to say two main things that I am very pleased about. There's a ton of stuff that I'm very unhappy about, but two things that, one is Bob Hall had a bill that actually passed. It turned the election, early voting and the election day into one block instead of having a break in between. And it's only 4 days, well, 5 days, and the 6th day is the election day. I think it is a huge deal. It took a lot of work to get there. Thank you. You all did the heavy lifting on making calls to every one of those legislators. Thank you for doing that. The other one is stopping China, Iran. Russia and North Korea from buying land in Texas. Two major wins we've got, so I am very pleased and very happy to have Carissa Richardson and Katrina Pearson from Collin County, and they did a wonderful job. And so when you see them, thank them. God bless you all. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Abraham. The next item on tonight's agenda is appointment of temporary officers, and that is my oversight from my first meeting, is I did not appoint Sergeant at Arms. So at this point, I'm going to appoint temporarily for purposes of tonight's meeting as Chief Sergeant at Arms Dave Scott, and also Matt Thorson and Richie Rogers. Thank you all for agreeing to do this and continuing to serve. So there's a spot here for chairman's remarks. I'm not much for hearing myself talk about things unless there's something pressing that needs to be said or the party is begging to hear something. So I will just say two things that are very important were the results of the runoffs that ended yesterday for the nonpartisan local elections, however you want to call them, and also the session just ended. So first, I want to say that the postmortem on the local elections with respect to data and turnout and how much work we did and things is really the purview of the candidate committee, and I don't want to, who worked so hard to nominate and endorse and present a slate of candidates to endorse, so I don't want to step on any toes or color that. I just want to say that I'm very proud of the work that this party did in the local elections. I haven't been involved outside of Prosper in local elections as much in the past, but the number of people working, the amount of resources, the dollars, Ivan Sifton, who will be here later to give kind of a report to the body on the specifics as to what this body voted on and approved, that the things that they did for the candidates in the different races. He'll be here to go over that. But I just want to say kudos to this body. You win some, you lose some. We don't have a glass jaw. We can take it on the chin. We'll come back fighting hard. We're going to pick this lock, crack this code on some of these cities and some of these elections, and we're getting better and better. And for just a minute, I'd like to revel in the fact that we elected 2 endorsed conservative candidates to the Frisco City Council. That's, as you all know, who live in Frisco, have worked in Frisco, and spent time in Frisco based on the past cycles and whatnot, and this party trying to get involved is no easy task. So this body deserves a lot of credit, as do the candidates and all those precinct chairs in Collin County, and especially in Denton County and Frisco, that helped work to get those 2 candidates elected. And I believe that they are over at the administration, or at the City Hall, getting sworn in tonight, I believe. So Ivan is over there as well. So I believe Mr. Sifton will be back with us over here today. We're gonna, I will ask for some grace from the body if he is not here by the time his item comes up on the agenda. I told him that I would ask the body for permission to move that so that he could report to this body later in the meeting if he's not here by the time it comes up on the agenda. But I just want to say kudos to everyone for their hard work, and we will continue to be involved. We will continue to expend resources. We will continue, in some circumstances when appropriate, to spend money and commit ourselves to bringing more conservative leadership to the state, to the county, and also in these municipal elections that govern so many parts of our lives, from schools to tax rates and whatnot at the local level. So we'll keep doing it, and we'll keep doing it better and better. And I want to thank the candidate committee for their work and everyone else that worked on these elections. Give yourself a round of applause for all the work you did in the last 2 months. Likewise, it's a little early to do an entire rundown of the legislative session. I just want to reiterate what Chairman George said about some wins that we had there. And there's going to be a lot of discussion amongst this body, I'm sure, both with its legislators and without its legislators, about some things that got passed and some things that did not get passed this session. I can just tell you that I'm all ears for that, and I think this body has a lot of work to do in that area, and I think we have a role to play in that area, and I think that we should bring our influence and our expertise to bear on those legislators that in their successes, and applaud them, and also in their failures or their refusal to heed our repeated calls for certain legislation and certain things that the grassroots support overwhelmingly. I'm just going to say it, one burr in my saddle is taxpayer-funded lobbying, which polls, correct me if I'm wrong, Chairman George, but if you're still here, it polls out of crazy high across the board, Republicans and Democrats. And for some reason, we can't even get votes on the floor on a taxpayer-funded lobbying bill, which has been in I think it's been on our priorities 2 sessions in a row. So that's just one example. I don't want to harp on the negative, but that is just an example of some ways that we can do better and expect better from the people that we support and send to Austin for 6 months every 2 years. With that, I'm going to leave the rest of the stuff about the municipal elections to Ivan when he returns. The next item on tonight's agenda is the approval of the minutes from the March and May EC meetings. They were attached to the call. If you're wondering why April was missing, we approved the April minutes at the last meeting, and now we have the March and May EC meeting minutes that were attached. So I would entertain a motion to adopt the March and May minutes from the EC meetings.
Mr. Chair, Stevie Callis, 102, so moved.
There's a motion. Is there a second? Limp your way up there.
Debbie Bowers, Precinct 39, I seconded.
Thank you, Debbie. There's been a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the March 2025 EC meeting and the May 2025 EC meeting. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. The meeting minutes are approved. At this time, the next item on the agenda, because I thought it was important that we have this report, is the Get Out the Vote committee report that is slated to be given by Ivan Sifton. I would ask, without objection, that I table the Get Out of the Vote report item on the agenda until Mr. Sifton comes here from the swearing-in ceremony that he's attending. Is there any objection? Without objection, the Get Out the Vote committee report will be tabled and will be taken up. Whatever agenda item we are on when Mr. Sifton gets here, we will complete, and then that will be moved to the very next item on the agenda when he gets here. The next item on the agenda is the PCRV report. The PCRV reported out proposed appointments for precinct chair from various precincts. The names on the list of the appointments that were approved and recommended by the PCRV, and these are candidates that have met the guidelines in the rules by either attending, they meet the statutory requirements for precinct chair, they've also either attended the requisite number of meetings, or in Ms. Lovelace's case, fall into the situation where they had been a precinct chair in the previous 2 years, so are not required to attend additional meetings, although she attends the meetings anyway, and have been vetted by the precinct chair recruitment and vetting committee and recommended. And those names are Ellen Lovelace from House District 33, Precinct 153. Dudley Wilson, House District 61, Precinct 220. Patty Jones, House District 61, Precinct 204. Myra Gamow, House District 66, Precinct 81. Melissa Tipton, House District 66, Precinct 101. Gina Gleason, House District 66, Precinct 22. Deborah Jenkins, House District 67, Precinct 40. And Dana Sickler, House District 70, Precinct 14. Because this is a committee report, it does not require a motion or a second, so I'll move the yeas and the nays. All in favor of adopting the report to appoint those that have cleared the PCRV and other requirements to the precincts that I've just listed, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. In the opinion of the chairs, the ayes have it. Those persons listed in the report will be appointed to the respective precincts. a moment, I'll invite them up to be sworn, but for now, I'm going to go over the resignations and the abandonments and get the body's will on that. Mr. Callis, did you have a point of information you needed to state? I apologize, we were in the middle of a vote. Mr. Callis? Nope. Thank you. So we have the following resignations. Please hold your applause to the end. We have the following resignations as precinct chairs. David Lethe, HD 66, Precinct 119. Ben Mooney, HD 67, Precinct 181. Brian Corrigan, HD 70, Precinct 55. Susan Christensen, HD 89, Precinct 50. And Joshua Frick, HD 33, Precinct 153. Although this is just a procedural vote, I just want to make sure that all those in favor of accepting the resignations of the aforementioned precinct chairs say aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? Those resignations will be duly noted. And then with respect to abandonments, we only have one, and that is Matt Weed from House District 33, Precinct 217. All in favor of declaring Matt Weed of House District 33, Precinct 217 as abandoning his precinct, and all that means at this point is that we send out the requisite notices with respect to eventual removal as a precinct chair. All in favor say aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? Now, before I ask the precinct chairs up, I just wanted to clarify some of the way that I've proceeded in going about the abandonments. My process on this has been, the rule says that you can be considered abandoned after 2 meetings missed. It does not say that you have to be removed as a precinct chair. It just says 2 meetings. Of course, if you miss 4, you've missed 2. So either qualifies. So my thought is that when someone meets the minimum requirements, my goal is to make sure that we are not overemphasizing attendance at EC meetings, as important as they are, for someone that has travel or an illness or family issues. And so I've directed Terry, and we've discussed this, and she's in complete agreement that we'll send out notices of precinct chairs who are on the line or over the line with respect to those issues, and send them to the HD chairs, and then we will listen to the HD chairs' recommendation as to whether or not those people are actually AWOL or they are actually working. They're just not making meetings, and then we'll follow it up from that point without just putting people on lists automatically. We have to have rules, but obviously taking the cue of the HD chairs that actually work with these precinct chairs on a weekly basis, and if they confirm that in fact those people are not coming to meetings, they're not responsive, they don't know where they are, and they can't vouch for them, then we'll leave them on the list. But if an HD chair asks that they be taken off so that they can research or find the person or do some work with them, then we will follow the HD chair's recommendation, at least for the time being, and get to the bottom of it before we put them on the abandonment list. So that's kind of, if there's any questions about that, I just wanted to clear that up. So we're not putting people on lists automatically after 2 meetings and just reading them off.
That has been our practice. It's just, thank you for clarifying that. I appreciate that.
And that's good. I think it's a good practice, and probably not original to me, but I think it's a good practice. And we will continue it unless the body has other wishes and wishes to handle it a different way. So thank you. Now I'd like to ask all of the precinct chairs that were appointed tonight to come forward to be recognized and sworn in. And I'm going to ask, well, I think I will ask our wonderful county judge, Chris Hill, to come up and do the honors of swearing in our new precinct chairs so they can take their seats with the ranks of the rest of the voting body.
That's Terry.
All right, let me have all of you line up and face the group.
Make sure you look at me a little bit too, because I'm going to make this a Kodak moment for
It's
you.
going to look like everybody's looking down.
And before we proceed,
Sorry, Terry.
before we proceed to the vote, let me just say welcome and thank you so much for your service.
You are joining a team of folks who help us keep this county the most conservative, the reddest, the most excellent county in the state of Texas. This is a team of doers, a team of workers,
a team of folks who know their neighbors and help turn out the vote on important issues and elections. And we are grateful to welcome you to this team, so thank you all. All right, if you would raise your right hand and repeat after me. I say your name. Do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of precinct chair of precinct number, say your precinct, of Collin County, and will to the best of my ability preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state. I furthermore solemnly swear that I will encourage people in my precinct to be involved by identifying voters, registering voters, informing voters, turning out voters, working at polls, assisting candidates, and I will be involved in the party conventions. Wonderful job. Ladies and gentlemen, your new precinct chairs.
Let's finish for Sue. Thanks. All right. Chris. All right. Got it. Thank you.
I was hiding behind the tall guy.
Yeah. I was making faces.
Thank you, Judge Hill, and congratulations to all of our new precinct chairs. Some of those that have been away for a little while and back, Ms. Lovelace, and those new precinct chairs. It's wonderful to have you and hopefully give us some renewed vigor and energy as we tackle the next 2 years leading up to the 2026 elections. The next item on tonight's agenda is a brief financial report from our treasurer, Jim Farley. Mr. Farley, would you please come forward? Terry? Pardon me, Bonnie will stand at ease for just a moment. I'm going to pull up his financial report on the screen.
Okay, good evening. Sorry. Okay, you got it? Okay, first of all is our cash balance. We have at the end of May, these numbers that I'm going to talk through are the end of May, which is 11 months to our fiscal year, which ends in June. So, okay.
Keep it up to your mouth.
Okay. So anyway, we're 11 out of 12 months. And at the end of May, the balance of cash was about $202,000. At the end of March, my previous report, we were at $211,000. And in December, the previous quarter to that was $175,000. The big difference is Lincoln Day is in the end of March. So the December number was relatively low, and every year December is kind of low because Lincoln Day is usually February, March, whatever. So at the end of March, we were at 211, and then that was the big fundraiser. So what happens is we raise a lot of money at Lincoln Day, and then we drain it down month by month after that. So the balance now is $202,000. This is the administrative budget to actual, and the budget for revenue, miscellaneous money coming in, was $32,000, and we had $39,000. So we're 7,500 favorable to the budget. The spending number was, including the contingency, is 236,000 was the budget, and we've only spent 156,000, so we're 80,000 favorable under budget, which is generally a good thing. There was just a lot of increases built into the budget that just never happened, so we're favorable. Totally, net cash flow, we were budgeted at 204,000 negative. As I said, this is where most of the money spent, day-to-day stuff. And so we budgeted $200,000 negative was the budget, and we only had 116 negative, so we're 88,000 better than the budget. So that's a good thing. Then this is all the other activities. You can see the first column is administrative, which I just went through. 7,500 favorable revenue, 80,000 favorable expense, 88 total favorable. Lincoln Day, I guess there's been a lot of people wondering how we did on Lincoln Day. Well, so far, and we still have some things outstanding, not a lot, but a little bit. We had $220,000, or $200,000 was the budget for Lincoln Day, and we got 220, so we're 20,000 better on the revenue side. And I think we had 115 was the budget for expense, and we're at 149 or so. So we're about 34,000 negative, more than the budget for expense. And we had a speaker that we paid for and all that. That's what happened. So net overall, we made about $70,000 for Lincoln Day. We had budgeted 85,000, so we're 14.5 negative to this point. And I think there's still money outstanding, so we'll close that gap a little bit. So we made money Lincoln Day. It's a good thing. Victory, we were 60,000 favorable on the revenue side. The Trump signs and Trump paraphernalia sold like crazy. So we did a lot better than we had in budget. Of which, by the way, 25,000 was committed to judges for our 2026 campaign. So we're going to continue to support the judges just like we always have out in 226. So, and that's in the next fiscal year, or maybe even beyond that, because we end up with June 30th, so we're even the year after that. So anyway, we did spend a little bit more. We had a lot more coming in, so we spent a little over 21,000 more than the budget. So we're still 39,000 favorable to the budget for Victory. Golf, haven't seen much activity in golf, but there was a new revenue program called the Charter Members Program that was put in. We're including golf and the charter members for 34,000 down on the revenue side, but we're 9,000 better on the spending side, so we're about 25,000 down net to the budget for golf and the charter members program. The charter members program is successful. We did get more revenue, which is a good thing. So it was just a little bit less than we thought it was going to be. Ticketed events, which is things like the Christmas party and that, is close to the budget and both of them. So altogether, we're $52,000 above budget when it comes to revenue. We're 36,000 below the budget when it comes to expense. So totally, we're almost 89,000 favorable budget. So both were favorable. So, any questions? Whatever. John?
John Donovan, Precinct 137. Trying to understand if we had a $70,000 net profit from Lincoln Day dinner.
Right. So far.
And can you go back to this first slide and help us explain that? How did our cash balance only go up from $175,000 in December by $26,000 to the end of May? And we had the $70,000 March 31st.
We were off by 15, and it changed what, 26. So it's pretty close.
No, I'm saying your total's 175 in December,
Well, we spent some money. We have rent, we have payroll, I mean, various things.
I'm sorry, you said 70,000 that came in March from the.
Well, it came in January, February, and March.
Okay.
I mean, people buy tables in advance.
So our monthly expenditures ate up of that 70, ate up, because again, the increase there is only, what, $26,000.
Yeah,
so
right.
Monthly expenditures ate up that $46,000 influx.
Right. Yeah, we have expenses every month. We raise money in one lump and then we spend it the rest of the year.
It just seems like it got dissipated pretty quickly. I think it would be helpful to show the events instead of giving us this net thing that's hard to follow. Most accounting you show, well, or an event, you show the income, the outflow. You do that across the board. It seems like you're going on so many slides.
I did that on the administrative here. I did the budget and actual. It's just that when you get to whatever 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different things, it's you would show 10 different sub things, and it's hard to show.
I'm just saying the Lincoln Day dinner is, like I said, our biggest event. The victory is huge in the election year, presidential election year. It's probably worth our time. That's why we start at 6:30 now. I think we as a body need more details and information on this so we can really understand, everybody can understand how our organization is functioning from a cash flow standpoint, profitability standpoint, and understanding how we can deploy the resources. Because I don't even know the golf revenue column you were talking about. I don't know what that is. Is that a golf tournament or something? Members signing up or something?
So this is a snapshot. We do a brief report on a monthly basis, but the budget meeting is happening for our next fiscal budget. You'll have prior year's line item for every single thing going down when we move to pass the budget at the August meeting. So we don't produce a 5 years going back line item, 15-page spreadsheet over at every meeting. Yeah. This is our summary, Mr. Jonathan.
These events are 11 months year to date. It just would help to have a little bit more context to it. And in particular, I have no idea what the golf new revenue is. When you were talking about it, I didn't know if that's a golf tournament. You said something about new members and like.
Yeah, it's a golf tournament.
Yeah, we've put on a golf tournament the last couple of years, and
yeah, it was included in the budget.
Okay.
We do it.
So we lost. We were 25,000 net loss or below. See, that's the thing. To me, that looks like a $25,000 net loss. I don't know if that's real, or if you're saying it's just 25,000 less than we hoped to make.
Less than budget.
That's what I'm saying. That's what's.
Yeah,
we have to realize out here. That looks like we lost 25,000 on a golf tournament. Which, if that's the case, I'd raise my hand and say, "Why the hell are we running it? Or why don't we get somebody better doing it for us?"
The title of the slide is variance to budget.
It includes the charter members program as well. So.
And does that have anything to do with golf?
No. We just put it together to have fewer items here, make it simpler. Was the theory anyway?
Yes, Mr. Myers.
Mark Myers, Precinct 116. I noticed that you have the $25,000 committed for judges in 2026 included in the $59,000 victory revenue. Is that correct?
Right.
So won't that distort this fiscal year when compared to next fiscal year by recognizing revenue in this fiscal year that in fact is reserved for the following fiscal year? I don't think the $25,000 should be presented from a financial statement perspective as revenue for this fiscal year, when indeed we will incur $25,000 of expenses in the coming fiscal year.
It's actually the year after that.
Understood. And this isn't the actual financial statement, just for clarity. This is just a summary to let the body know what was raised and what was on the budget. So how it's actually reflected in an accountant's financial statement, I'm not sure, but your point is well taken. If we raised it this year, didn't spend it, and then we're spending it in 2 years, it looks like we have oversized expenses in 2 years that we didn't raise.
The idea is to put the footnote so people see that.
And
I think
one
everybody saw it.
additional question. You have a note with regard to the comments, more expense under speaker for Lincoln Day dinner.
Right.
We had 2 speakers at Lincoln Day. We had Ted Nugent, we had Dan Patrick. Can you share with the body the total expense for each of those 2 speakers, including any expenses related to both of those speakers? Thank you.
Well, Ted Nugent was about 62,000.
So I think the line item for speaker, for total speaker is about $61,000 and change. So it's just short of $62,000, and Dan Patrick did not cost any money. So it's the cost for both speakers, but one was gratis. Thank you. Yeah.
Jim, may I have your report?
Ms. Wade, will you come restore our agenda items?
That's Coach Wade.
Coach Wade.
Where did this go? Is that down there? Does that go down there or up here? There's that one, and I think there's another stand over there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's there. Okay, yes. I'm confused. Rules report.
So the next item on the agenda is a Rules Committee report. Don't moan yet. It's a relatively minor rules change that needed to be done to clarify some ambiguity. So I'll call on the chairman of the Rules Committee, Mr. Stephen Callis, to present the rules report.
Yeah. How about that? Pretty simple, huh? I can't read it? Okay, let's fix that.
Where is that?
Lower right. Lower right. Lower right. I see it. Everybody.
Take it easy, Nacho Libres.
I guess I don't have an excuse, this is not an apple. Okay, so you may recall in previous months, we passed an item which created Section 8, which gave a direction of what the executive team directors, their existence, and then we said we were going to come back to you with basically a job description. I know there was a lot of concern on some folks that the idea of having executive teams or executive directors was going to take away the power from the committees or take away the power from the executive committee. That was never the intent. The intent is they're going to carry out jobs assigned to them by the executive committee and answer to one person who answers to the chair. So that is what's reflected there. And that is the entirety of the committee report. So I would like to move this for adoption at this time. So, do we need any discussion or are we comfortable with the vote on this, folks? Okay, all in favor of adopting the language currently on the screen in green, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you very much. We're done. Congratulations.
Rules ever.
I was ready.
Me too.
So that concludes the official business. We still have nothing from Mr. Sifton yet on returning here. So let's visit about a couple things that are going to be coming up in the next few meetings. So in August,
I intend on nominating permanent officers. I intend on presenting that a budget be presented to the body for review and adoption. I would like to discuss with the body the appointing a temporary committee whose sole object it is to retake HD 70. And while that can be a body level movement, we also need some targeted people that both live there and understand the data and whatnot to help us make that a goal. It was something that was important to me in running for chair, is that we don't need another a liberal Democrat in Collin County. And personally, I don't believe we were treated fairly in the redistricting process here in Collin County, and I don't like to dwell in the past, but I think this is a problem of meaning our collective body and this Collin County and its representations doing, that we have a Democrat in Collin County, but we can do something about that. And I believe that this body should have a say in it, and I think that we should make it our sole goal of taking back, or it's not sole goal, but one of our number one priorities. Number one priority should be to take back HD 70. And I think that one of the benefits of redistricting was that our other representatives have a nice red, some cherry red districts that are not amenable, unless, you know, we have a Hindenburg disaster here, which is not impossible but unlikely in 2026, so that we can spend more time and resources focusing on HD 70 and not races in which we have solid representation in plus 15 districts. So my goal would be to focus our efforts and our resources, and I'm going to ask the body to join me in that, and of course take your advice and recommendations and your vote on how we should do that. But I propose at least starting by appointing a temporary committee that will of course report to this body, not to me, about how to do that. While it is a goal of mine, I don't intend to know nor be capable of that heavy lift, either on my own or officers or whatnot, or people that I'm friends with. So I want the body's help in this, and hopefully you will join with me in doing that. So those are three things on the agenda that will be on the agenda in August. And I think we are short a candidate committee chairman, if I'm correct, Ms. Coach Wade?
That is correct.
So we are absent a candidate committee chairperson, which we really need that committee to be functioning, not just because those elections are important, but because we need a review of the candidate committee's work and their and what they accomplished, what we didn't accomplish, things we did well and things we didn't do well, and we can't do that without a chairperson of the committee. So hopefully we will be able to appoint a chairperson to the candidate committee between or at the meeting in August as well. Also, I intend to circulate while we're off in July a list of all the teams and everything they're working on and what their tasks are. And we're missing some team directors. We're also missing some team members to help accomplish some of those goals. So I intend on circulating that while we're on our 1 month break in July before August, so people can volunteer and let me know if you're interested in serving on those and making yourself available to help with the party. And just one change before I call up Mr. Shipton here to give his report. Shelby Johnston resigned from the executive team of public relations and communications after serving us well and preparing all of our graphics and our reports and all of our announcements for the local elections in April and May. And Denise McNamara has taken over the role as team director on public relations and comms. So please give Denise a round of applause. Thank you, Denise, for sharing that. With that, I will call on the chairperson of the Get Out the Vote Committee, Ivan Sifton, to come up and give a report on the party's efforts, including his committee's efforts in the local elections that took place over the last 3 months, including the runoffs. Mr. Shipton?
Good old technology, never works when you need it to. All right. Hey, first off, thank you guys for being accommodating with the timing today. We were actually over with a lot of the Frisco PCs to celebrate Stephanie Eli's swearing in. She was successful winning that seat. But what brings me today is where we are at. So back about, 2 months ago, Byron came to me and said, I need you to help with Get Out the Vote committee. So I'm relatively new, at least within the Collin County GOP. So my goal was to just try to learn and absorb from so many of the people here that are so talented and already know so much. So we were given kind of the challenge. So I recall when we began preparing for these municipal elections, the question was posed to us. What value does the CCGOP endorsement carry? It's got to mean something. This is where we focused our energy to determine what we can bring to the table that would help these candidates. So, in addition, the challenge was to show where that CCGOP brand name, which we've been hearing about now for the last year, would mean something for these campaigns and specifically for the people that we endorse. Thankfully, we are very blessed to have in this room so many amazing talents and just amazing abilities. I mean, people that I've gotten to see within the last month or two, just amazing organization, you name it, data, whether it be websites, whether it be graphics design. So there's a lot of talent here. The question is, how do we apply it and how do we move forward? So I can attest to all that we saw. Once we kind of went through different examples, we began to share a few of these that we were able to provide the endorsed candidates. I've got a few of them in my bag. I'll leave them up here at the end. Stuff such as mailers with slate cards, inserts. Also, we were able to help and coordinate text messaging. Special call out to the Frisco PCs who helped contribute to that. And thank you, Brian Fletcher over there, for helping to arrange it. So we appreciate that. Also, the data that we were able to provide to campaigns was vital. We'll hopefully be hearing from two of the campaigns towards the end of the speech, but we were able to also identify who our voters were and during the election who had voted and who needed to get out to vote so we could target those people. Remember, at the end of the day, our goal was to turn out our Republican base. Good news is that we relatively did, especially at the end. Among the other things we provided was block walking, poll reading, social media posting, and graphics. Kudos to Shelby Johnson, who I just heard step down. But Denise has been awesome in the meantime with helping to get us going with that. We also, from the CCGOP distribution email, we sent out multiple emails reminding people to vote, because those are targeted people. We know anybody that signed up for that would be committed, at least be interested in being engaged in our elections. So we used them, one last thing, and I'll kind of credit Byron with this, but thank you for the allowing us for the runoff to do the 5K matching funds. I know that made a difference for the candidates that utilized it. So we used the May election as a learning process and fine tuning. Goal was June was going to be where we're going to see what results we can get. Well, I'm happy to say, and I'm sure it's anticlimactic because everybody knows what happened Saturday night. It was a very good night for us, relatively speaking. Of our endorsements, we got 67% success. That's something I keep hearing about how CCGOP does not get victory. But let's drill down a little further to that. So besides that 67%, the more important statistic is 100% of the candidates that embraced and utilized the resources that our GOTV committee members offered were victorious. Meaning that the efforts that we did resulted in victories. So there's a lot of people to thank with regards to that, but what I'd like to just say is from the precinct chairs that came out from around the area. I know in Frisco and McKinney, we saw a lot of people that weren't from Frisco and McKinney that drove maybe an hour just to be there to help out, whether it be poll reading, whether it be the ones that phone banked, whether whether they block walked, from the social media campaign, even just want to send out a special shout out to our chair, who one time we really needed to get stuff done, made calls for us and got stuff moving, so thank you very much, Chairman Mary. And all in all, it showed what can be done when the CCGOP works together. Kind of want to end this with one news flash. I know the Democrats are gloating after the May elections. Well, I've got news for you. CCGOP is now a force again, and we are just going to continue to get stronger. One of the things we saw was the value in the data. We knew who to target, and we're going to continue to do that. We're going to continue to develop technologies. Oh, I also wanted to shout out Frank Simeon here. Where is he? Special shout out to him for helping to develop some of the data that we got. And quite frankly, we're only like maybe utilize maybe 25% of it. So I think hopefully around this next time around.
Frank, stand up. Stand up, Frank.
Yeah. So all in all, it's really nice to see when we're all unified what we can do. Given the selection was on this past Saturday, we've not had a chance to hold a committee meeting to review this. So our goal is to hold that by the end of this month, at which time we're going to analyze both the May and June elections and hopefully come back to present in August to the executive committee what happened and also recommendations so that we can be better prepared and we can win more of these elections. Further, I've had the privilege already to do an exit interview with one of the candidates, and I'll try to do it with the rest, but instead of hearing from me, is the other candidate here? Yes, he is, good. The closer. I'm just a warm-up. I would like to yield my time to the newly elected Frisco City Council member, Jared Elad.
Before he starts, let me just say once again, there's not a day that went by that I did not get an email, more than one, or text from Ivan, Denise McNamara, Shelby Johnston, Terry Wade, and a number of others attempting to get things done and get it done quickly as the race was moving forward in McKinney and Frisco. And let me just say it goes all the way to the top, because when we had a small hang-up down at the state party with respect to being busy and into session, and we had runoffs up here, Chairman George stepped in and facilitated some payments on requests immediately when things were backed up to get things done that day so we wouldn't have money wasted and time wasted on suppliers. So give Ivan and Jared, take it away.
Thanks. Congratulations. I do want to give a special shout out to Byron. He's been great. Every time we needed something, and can I say this? I was a little surprised.
No, you may not say.
But without a doubt, Byron, you did amazing. And I just want to point that out. Thank you. So, I can't believe I'm here. It was a battle. Oh my goodness. But I want to point out what Ivan just said. It was you guys. It wasn't one person. Robert did amazing. I'm looking around and Cody came out. Cassidy, I see him over there. It was all of us. We came together. We stuck to our message. We were proud Republicans. And they came after us because of that. I promise you they did. The guy that ran with me, Bird, I've never seen a guy take so many arrows. But he hung in there. And actually better than me. But one of the reasons I came tonight was just to really reinforce. I know we've been talking about it many different times. And there's been a lot of discussion about it. But endorsing candidates works. I wouldn't be here, there's no doubt. I got the Collins GOP, the Denton GOP, then I got the state Republican Party. And that snowball got me further endorsements. And that gave people confidence. See, the average voter doesn't know. They just don't know. We assume they're going to be like us and be informed. And they're not. They show up and they just want to know, are you a D or an R? And everybody's Republican. You notice that in Briscoe? I mean, I've never seen so many. But when we have that stamp beside us, it works. You know how I know it works? People came in with our mailers. We had a slate mailer for the May election, and everybody that was working the polls saw them bringing that in. So they knew who to vote for. But when it came to the runoff, they knew. They got the message. They saw that me and Bert came in first place. And I was shocked at the runoff total. We did triple what we normally would. That other side, I didn't realize how motivated they were. I heard it, but they were motivated. But guess what? We're more motivated. And we can beat them. But if we don't get behind our candidates, a victory like this for me and Bert wouldn't have happened. And it's a cliche, you know, you can't do it by yourself, right? Why is it cliche? Because it's true, right? And so that's what I just wanted to really point out. Now that I was the candidate and I needed help, it was there. And when I reached out to Byron and said, man, we're in trouble, we need some help, he was on it. And when you guys voted, I still can't believe we did that unanimous vote to do some matching funds. I think that was the first vote that was unanimous of anything we've ever done. I told Stephanie, she goes, what meeting did you go to? And I said, well, I was there. And I was really proud that night when everyone voted yes. And I wasn't going to let you down. And I was telling Ivan, you know, after poll reading, I was poll reading 8 to 5. I immediately grabbed my push cards and I was out block walking right after that. Because I couldn't come back here with an L. I couldn't. And Ivan called me, he goes, where are you at? He goes, I'm block walking. He goes, wait a minute, what? I thought you were polls. He told me to close. I'm out block walking now. And I had people at the polls telling our supporters, Jared came to my house. I was so impressed I came out here to vote. That was real. Cynthia, I see you nodding your head. She was at the polls. She knows. So I'm not going to go on and on, but I just want to end with a huge thank you. I can't understate it. It was, talk about a roller coaster. Whew. That was a tough one. But I sat last night with Ivan and his team. That was the interview he had. And he said point blank, what was it you think the number one thing? And I didn't hesitate, the endorsement. That started it all. It did. The money was nice. I get it, we all need money. But it was the endorsement right out of the gate. That started everything. So we can continue to do this. Me and Bert proved it. We proved it. It can be done. With you guys, the best precinct chairs in all of Texas, for sure, we can start winning more elections and doing much better. And, Tarrant County was 9 out of 23 seats in May, and they're the reddest of reds. But we're 2 out of 2 here in Frisco. And I think we can keep doing it. I know we can. So I'm going to turn this over to Bert. Thank you.
Thank you all. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Can everyone hear me? Outstanding. My name is First Backer. I don't think we should ever start something without first invoking the blessings of God. Psalm 23, as most of you are aware, says, "Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, because the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He leadeth me to green pastures, and lets me sit beside the still waters." I was reminded of that this morning, because for the first time, this knot that was sitting here was still. Because we just won an election. And we couldn't have won if it wasn't for you. All the precinct chairs. Everyone worked so hard on the late night calls with Ivan, sometimes at 11. Ivan, when I said, "Hey Ivan, it's midnight, will you help me put up some signs?" And Ivan said, "Sure, absolutely, I'll be there." Rachel, Mr. Elliott, I'm sorry, I took Rachel away from you all those nights where she would help. The number of people in this room that I look around and I see you stood at the polls, you made calls for us, you did so many things for all of us, but it just goes to show you one thing, that people who leaned into the fact that not only were we Republican, but we were conservative and we were America first, we win. We win not because we hide from who we are, we win because we reveal what we are. We are unafraid. And like some of you have heard me say, my favorite line, which is from Paul's letter to the Corinthians, of the three great which remain, faith, hope, and love. Love is the greatest. If we operate from a place of love, we can do great things. We reject fear, because that is what makes America truly great. I've written something down, but I'll just speak directly from the heart. You know, I come from a family who understands the value of freedom. My parents made the ultimate sacrifice, and they came here. They left everything they knew to come to the greatest country on earth. And I'm tired of people apologizing for her greatness. I'm tired of families having to choose between giving their kids a good education or fighting bureaucrats. I'm tired of government bureaucracy running amok. And we all want the same things. We want safe streets, strong schools, good job opportunities, low property taxes, a safe streets with supporting and making sure that our police and firefighters and our first responders are taken care of. We want to make sure that we live in communities that are not only safe, but they build bridges amongst each other. And the other side might want to tell you that, hey, look in this room, I see nothing but differences, now I see nothing but Americans. Terry Wade and Abraham George were the first two people I met when I came strolling into the office and I said, hey, I got this crazy idea, I think I might run for office. And that gentleman over there, he endorsed me. Darrell Day endorsed me. Mitch Little endorsed me. Ben Bumgarner endorsed me. Heck, I got endorsed by Brandon Gill. But I got endorsed by the Collin County GOP. You know what a shock that was, Jared? You know, I did cartwheels that afternoon. Do you remember that? Y'all gave us not just the money, just like Jared said, but y'all gave us the full weight of what it means to be a conservative. It means that we said it loud and clear. You gave us the strength to be able to go up in any room and hold our head up high. And for that, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I promise you one thing, I'm going to make mistakes. My first time being in office, but I'll fail fast. And I'll try to do things always for the right reasons. God bless you. God bless Collin County. God bless the United States of America. I'm so proud to be a Republican.
Headquarters too. Remember that? You brought some cookies, Bert?
Well, let's look at this. I know what I'm talking about.
Bert. It's just a reminder that when this body is unified around a goal, and we will not always agree, obviously, on a lot of things. That's what makes this party great, is we're not robots. We all think for ourselves. But when this party does, this body and the Collin Republican Party unify on a certain item, whether it be Collin College trustees in a runoff or a heavy lift in Frisco, Texas for Frisco City Council, there is very little this party and this body cannot accomplish. So thank y'all for all y'all's hard work for them and for this party, and give yourself a round of applause for all that hard work. You can have autographs and photos after the meeting with our celebrities. Mr. George is still here. We've got some judges here. We've got some newly elected candidates here. But this is the next item on the agenda is new business, which is the time when we can bring up things that may need further consideration by committee, announcements, or things like that. So if you have any of those things you'd like to bring up in this item, please approach the mic and state your name and precinct number and what your business is.
Mr. Chairman, Steve Callis, 102. One of the things I failed to mention earlier, the next Rules Committee meeting will be on August the 12th. So if you have interest or desire to have your input heard, it will be August the 12th, and we'll send out the location as soon as we got that figured out. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Callis, and I will see if we can get that meeting and location published on the website as well for those who didn't write it down or memorize it just now, so that everyone will have access to and knowledge of when that meeting will occur.
Lee Breckenridge Moore, Precinct 247. I'd like to make a motion that since these meetings seem to be running smoothly, that we move the meeting start time back to 7 p.m.
Thank you, Ms. Breckenridge Moore. That was going to be an item I was going to take personal privilege and ask that of the body. So you've now made a motion. Do I have a second for starting the meetings? The rest of them are in this room at 7 o'clock going forward.
Second, John Donovan, 137.
Thank you. There's been a motion and a second. Do we need any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, I'll move for the ayes and the nays. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. Nay. In the opinion of the chairs, the ayes have it. So the agenda going forward, the call, with the agenda going forward that will be sent out at least 10 days before the meeting will reflect a 7 p.m. start time. I will let the body know that at any time it appears that we have an upcoming agenda that might push us on time. I don't ever want to get caught with business to do on time. I'll consult with the HD chairs before sending it out, and it is possible that a meeting could start earlier, but for now you may treat them as 7 o'clock start times, but please check the call when you get it, because it is not a guarantee that every meeting will start at 7, but from now going forward, 7 o'clock unless you hear otherwise. Thank you, Ms. Breckenridge Moore. Anyone else have any announcements or anything they'd like to bring to the body's attention in this new business agenda item?
Debbie Bowers, Precinct 39. Folks, I got a call from Michelle Bishop, and she wanted me to remind everybody that Coffee with Keith is going to be held this Saturday at the Farmersville location of Collin College from 1:30 to 2:30. Unfortunately, it was so popular that registration is closed, but if you show up, it'll be a first come, first served, because it went like hotcakes. And with everything that's going on, I think it's going to be very busy. So if you're interested, show up and put your name down, but we'd love to see you there. That's it.
Thank you, Debbie.
John Donovan, Precinct 137. Chairman, with regards to that, you mentioned for the August meeting you'd be working on preparing a budget presentation. Is there going to be a meeting that we can be invited to, a budget meeting, to be able to listen and maybe ask questions or present ideas on that? As an example, I know the people I was sitting around, we all turned to look at each other when we heard we paid $60,000 to have Ted Nugent as our speaker. That to me is a huge number out of a $200,000 asset-based entity to pay $60,000 for a speaker. And so I don't know if that's something that maybe needs to be considered in a future budget, that any expenditure for Lincoln Day dinner above a certain amount has to come to the body for approval, things like that. So is there going to be a meeting of some sort where the general elected EC members would have the ability to participate?
So two things. First of all, the budget committee has met once. It will meet again in I guess, a standing committee meeting, at which, of course, all precinct chairs are invited to attend, and they, depending on the internal rules of the committee, have a chance to address the committee before it does its work. And then, of course, whatever the committee produces comes to this body as a report for approval by the body. So the answer to your question is yes, the budget committee will meet. Pat Greer is the chairperson, so I'm not going to speak for her or her committee as to when, where, how long, but the budget committee will meet and prepare a budget, which is its job under the rules, to be presented to the body upon a majority vote of the budget committee, at which the precinct chairs can certainly attend. Items on the budget will not be line items for Lincoln Day. That's a different matter. So the second answer to your question is there's generally a budget for Lincoln Day expenses, and there's generally a budget for Lincoln Day income. So it's approved on the budget as how much we're trying to make on Lincoln Day, give or take. But the actual line items they don't go through the budget committee. They go through the Lincoln Day committee that actually, approves the different expenditures and whatnot. So I would simply say that I think that if the budget items that've been approved for expenses, this is just me musing, exceed the budgeted amount by a certain number, then I would think that they would need approval, maybe by the budget committee and the body, I'm not sure. But I think, yes, there are checks, and I'm not passing judgment, as I wasn't on the Lincoln Day committee, nor did I take part in the budgetary or the Lincoln Day planning, but I too was surprised by that number and interested in making some adjustments and corrections going forward. Let's just say that. So we will be vigilant. I will be as well, and I'm sure the body will, and the rest of the budget committee will be as well. So
will we as a body get, I don't know, a 10-day notification on the budget meeting, or is there any timeline of advance notice that we can be given?
No, I would just ask that the chairperson of the budget committee notify Terry of the budget committee meeting, and she can put it on the calendar and send out a blast to all the precinct chairs, since it's going to happen in a 2-month period where we're not having a meeting, so we won't be able to tell you the time here at the meeting. So
email notification.
Yeah, I think we can let everyone know when there's going to be a budget committee meeting.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Matt Thorson, Precinct 16. I just want to recognize something really quick. Liz James, Precinct Chair 172 and HD 67. Her efforts and her bill, if you're not familiar with it, talk to her about it, with her Blessed by His Blood. Did I say that right? I believe that we have to be the hands and feet for our cause, and that's for voting for elections and for causes like her bill, that she put so much time going back and forth, and time and money to go to Austin to fight. And a lot of times I see her in pictures alone, so it made me think that we need to do something more to help causes like that for our chairs. And so one thing I want to announce is that she has an opportunity in July to go to Washington, D.C. to speak at the Healthy America 2025 conference. I think that's what it is. It's an opportunity. They've asked her to speak. There's an opportunity for her to get in front of RFK Jr. and share what she's been fighting so hard for. So I just want to let everybody know we're going to be sending out something to try to help her get there as a party, because, like I said, we got to be the hands and feet, and it's a big cause, and it's a big opportunity that we need to stand behind.
Thank you, Matt. Well, if that's all we have. Yes, Mr. Joy.
Yes, President Joy, Precinct 77. Just wanted to announce we have our Collin County Republicans happy hour for young professionals. It's going to be on June 25th, 5:30 to 7:30 in Elwood, VFB and King, Senior Hall on 121. And everybody there always is welcome to join us. Thank you.
Tim Bates, Precinct 112.
personal privilege.
Granted.
May I address the body?
You may.
So I want to thank everyone for the prayers that you guys gave me and my wife. On May the 5th, we were in the emergency room. I was supposed to be at this meeting, and you guys prayed for my wife, and I really appreciate it. Thank you for all the prayers and all the support. Thank you.
Anyone else? So I got word, and some of you also may know, that Congressman Self lost his mother this morning to a stroke. And so I'm going to ask that we bow our heads. I'm just going to say a quick word for Congressman Self and Tracy and his family. And then, unless someone else has someone after that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this group of wonderful people, Lord, warriors, prayer warriors, political warriors. We just pray tonight for our Congressman from Congressional District 3 and his wife Tracy and their family, the loss of Congressman's mother. We just pray that you'll wrap them in comfort, give them peace, give them grace, Lord, as we all need. As we face each day, things expected and unexpected. Thank you for our prayers being answered with respect to Tim's wife and all that you do for us as a country, as a state, as a county, and as a party, Lord. And just have us remember the words of Abraham Lincoln when he was asked whether or not the Lord would be on the Union side. President Lincoln responded, it's more important that we be on the Lord's side. Pray that we'll remain there. Just put your hand of comfort and healing over the family of Congressman Self on this very difficult day. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Ms. Wade, Coach Wade just told me that she sent out or is sending out he will send out information with respect to Congressman Self's mother's memorial services. It is open to all those who want to attend.
It is this Wednesday as well.
On Wednesday. She'll send out the details to the body and everyone on our mailing list for those who may want to attend. Last thing is someone left their phone up here. So
I called China 3 times.
So I'm just going to leave it as a black iPhone, and I can't recognize anything that gives it any characteristics as who's to identify it. So there's an iPhone sitting up here on the.
I'll take it. I don't stress anybody.
So Coach Wade has it. So do we have any other business to conduct under this item before I entertain a motion to adjourn? Proceed.
Just a couple of quick announcements. One, I'm Sandra Halsey from Connor Harrington Republican Women, and tomorrow night we're going to have Michelle Byron from a DA from the City of Plano speaking on domestic violence. And then on August the 12th, we're having our meeting at Roman Kachina, where Congressman Keith Self will be our featured speaker that night on the things they anticipate coming up. So we invite you all to be there. We'll be sending out announcements and hope you'll all attend.
Thank you.
Matthew Syed, Vision 43, will we adjourn?
It's been a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Precinct 28.
Nope. Not recognized. Sorry.
Brian on Precinct 125, the second.
So without objection, this meeting is hereby adjourned. Thank you.